There you are, human. No need to be alarmed. I suppose I usually don't meet you at the door, but today is quite special, is it not? So, I decided to close the bar for the evening. Take a day off, if you will. Oh, no worries, human. You know all too well that there's not much that could hurt me financially. As for my other patrons, well, they understand that sometimes I need a day to myself. Or, in this case, I need a day to attend to more important matters. Those being you, of course, as you are in fact the most important thing to me. Still blushing at compliments, are we, human? I was worried that after we started seeing each other more seriously, that as my compliments became more frequent, you would get used to them. But perhaps you never will. That is quite delightful. I can say without shame that I quite enjoy your reactions from any form of flattery. It's good to see that they continue to stick around, even after said flattery is nothing out of the ordinary, as it is now. But I won't leave you stuck here on the doorstep while I ramble away. Come in. The lights are off, but I promise it's still quite warm and safe, as always. I was able to sense your coming here by your scent. I know it better than my own these days. Though, I suppose it's going to change quite soon, isn't it, human? I must say, I will miss it just a bit. But there are, of course, many other benefits to me transforming you, as one might say. No need to be nervous. Like I said before, I can't guarantee that the process won't be entirely painless. But after it is complete, you will feel simply amazing. And regardless of what happens during the changing, I will be right there with you the entire time, making sure you're as safe and comfortable as you can be, as you transform into something even more beautiful than you already are now. Come now, human. We can head up to my apartment now. I want to make sure that you're comfortable before we get started. It may take a while for you to fully adapt to all of your new senses. Strength and, well, of course there are the other urges, too. But I have everything prepared for that. I found sheets to make sure my room was darker than usual, as your eyesight will be greatly enhanced. It has been a long time since I myself was human, but I still remember those first few weeks of being a vampire quite distinctly, along with all of the things that would set me off, so to speak. I want to make sure that this transformation is as smooth as possible for you, so I've taken all of the necessary precautions, and perhaps then some. I don't like to steal human blood from blood banks, as I don't necessarily need it when I can feed on animals. But for fledglings, it's often quite different. The need for human blood will be quite intense. So, I've decided to isolate you here at the bar, where you're unlikely to run into any of your kind. And then I can give you what I have from the hospital. That should satiate your need enough that you won't go running off looking for a meal. Just remember, human, there's no shame in your hunger, once it comes. And believe me, it will come, and with quite a bit of force. Just be sure to let me know, and then I can make sure to take care of you. That is my top priority. and there's nothing that could make me think less of you, especially since you will be in a rather vulnerable state these next few weeks. Do you understand? Good. Now, take a seat and try to make yourself comfortable. I can almost feel your apprehension myself. I won't lie to you and say that this will be an entirely pleasant experience, but it will be quite a bit more pleasurable than it could be. Here, you will be turning in a safe environment, and with someone to wash over you, and feed you, and bring you whatever else it is that you may need after you turn. The first few days after this little event will be disorienting, to say the least. It takes time to get used to the different senses and feelings that come with being a vampire. But I'll be there to walk you through all of it. Though, this will require that we keep an open communication between us, just to make sure that everyone is always comfortable and getting what they need. Though, I don't think that it will necessarily be a problem. You've been so good with making your needs clear during our previous engagements, so I have no worries that you won't fail to speak up if the need arises. But I just want to clear the air and let you know that there's no reason to feel obligated to keep your mouth shut if you're having any issues. I'm here to protect and help you, at least for now, until you're strong enough and aware of yourself enough to do it on your own. So, accept the help from me, okay, human? I know that you have struggled with that in the past, but I unfortunately require it of you now. These are the terms of me doing this. Promise me that you'll allow me to help you as you go through this. You will? Very well. I'll take your word for it. You've been nothing but honest with me in the time that I've known you. Now, let me think of how to make this the most comfortable experience I can. When we first began our feeding arrangement, I remember walking you through what would happen before it did. Would you like me to do that again? Perhaps an outline of the events that should take place tonight will help relax you enough that experiencing them won't be as scary. Would that be helpful to you, human? Very well. Here's how this is going to go. I've already prepared a kind of draught. You see, in order for a human to turn into a vampire, they must consume vampire blood. I suppose it's a bit poetic in a way. Vampires drink human blood to feel more human, so a human must do the opposite in order to become like us. But however it is that it came about, it is what you must do. I've already prepared everything you need, and mixed it in with quite a bit of human painkillers. They won't infect you quite as strongly as they should once you become a vampire like me, but they will help with the very first little changes. I won't lie to you. The experience will be, well, quite unlike anything that you've ever experienced before. But I will be with you the entire time. Just remember, as you go through this, that you will not be alone. There is one other thing that I can do for you. The painkillers won't affect you much past the first stages of your transformation. As you pass the border between human and not human, their effects will be greatly diminished. But vampire venom is a rather universal calmer. Regardless of the species that is receiving it, it will have the same effect. So, with your permission, human, I'll give you one last bite. A little something to take the edge off. the pain that may be inevitable otherwise. And, of course, I quite like the idea of biting you one last time. Kind of a last hurrah to what originally brought us together. I think that's quite poetic of us to do that for ourselves. Don't you? I can see that you agree with me. I'm glad. You're not the only one that's a little bit nervous about this. Though, I understand that you have quite a bit more to fear than I might. But just remember, human, you are of course safe, regardless of my feelings on the matter. But, well, it's not often that I've had good experiences with my own kind, being the kind of vegetarian, as I've described, using only animal blood, and trying my best not to bite humans, without their consent, of course. Though, I understand that you personally will not change, even as your body does, so I'm prepared to sort of recontextualize what it is that I like about other vampires, once I have somebody who's by my side. For always. Well, I think that just about covers it. Now, I know that you're still quite a bit nervous about this. Understandably so, of course, but why not just rip off the Band-Aid now, so to speak? I figure it's better than to leave you to suffer with this anticipation much longer. Settle in, human. This won't be much different than our feeding sessions at first. Try to make yourself comfortable and just relax. I will go retrieve the mixture that you will need to drink. I can say from experience that it does not taste particularly good, but that part will be over quite quickly. Better to just down the whole thing in one go, if you can. At least from my experience. Now, are you ready? All right. I'm going to bite you just one last time. Getting my venom in your veins will help with any pain that you might experience. But I won't drink much. You're going to need all the strength you can get for what happens next. Here we are. You know, now that I think about it, I did eventually end up convincing you to try a quite a bit more exotic drink than you're used to. Though, this was definitely even more exotic than I originally had in mind, especially at the beginning. But I suppose it all comes full circle, doesn't it? You did end up trying more about the monster world than I think you might have ever believed you were capable of when you were still human. Now, take a deep breath. Very good, human. Just relax and let my venom sink into you for a bit. And then, whenever you're ready, drink everything inside that cup. You can take your time with it. I'll be with you throughout the entire thing. You're ready now? Very good. Here, take my hand. Perhaps that will provide you some comfort. There we go. Drink quickly. You're doing very well. Here, hand me the cup. I can dispose of it for you. All right. It's possible that the process will leave you quite exhausted. It will cause you to fall asleep, just one last time. I can't say that the dreams will be exactly pleasant, but you won't be alone for any of them. I can see it's already taking its effect on you. It's okay, human. There's no need to fight it. You can rest now for a bit. When you come back to yourself, you'll be a whole new person. Although, perhaps person isn't exactly the right word for it. Regardless, I will stay with you throughout the night. When you wake, it will be the beginning of a very long life, with us together. I can't wait to spend all of the time in the world with you. This is only our beginning.